Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, April 25th, and this is time for Bar Comedy USA News. This is your good pal, Jeremy Dog Danley, and I'll be joined quickly here soon by Double T from the Eagle over in Rockford. There's always technical issues. We'll see what happens. I'll be right back.
Rockford's home for Classic Rock 96.7 The Eagle. Good morning. It is Double T, and it's time for Bar Comedy USA News with comedian Dog. Dog, how you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Double T. Hey.
What? Yes.
Oh, I was just going to say, we're starting off good now with a good rhythm.
Let's start over. I'm one of those teams.
Take two.
Rockford's home for Classic Rock 96.7 The Eagle. Good morning. It's Double T. It's time for Bar Comedy USA News with comedian Dog. Dog, what is happening today?
Oh, good morning, Double T. Hey, it's good to talk to you because you are an industry insider.
All right, sure.
You have a wide range of perspectives.
Sure, yeah.
From being exposed to professional comedians over the years.
Yeah. I've been lucky enough to talk to many of them through the years, and it's always my pleasure. I always enjoy talking to comedians. They're always fun, and you know what? They're always on the road, and they always have funny stories, including yourself.
Yeah, and I think that you share a common feature with comedians when it comes to your profession.
Okay, and what's that?
That is what it takes to actually retire from doing it.
Yeah, do comedians retire?
You know, for most people, retirement sounds great. Sit back, relax, enjoy the fruits of your labor. But for
Right.
a stand-up comedian, a lot of times retirement is just not in the vocabulary.
No, I mean you got some of those legends that were out there doing it way, 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 way late in life. It's amazing to me.
Oh, absolutely. And this came to my attention because the comedian Richard Lewis, legendary stand-up comedian Richard Lewis, is retiring from comedy. I think it says he's the age of 75, and it's because he was diagnosed with Parkinson's. But
So if that didn't happen, he'd still be out there doing it.
100%, and that that it takes death or disease for comedians to retire, and I gotta say that's got to be similar to being a radio show host.
Oh yeah, unless the company decides that they're going to retire for you or retire you.
Oh, sure. So you might get retired by corporate.
Yeah, but most radio people don't want to retire. They just want to keep going, and and I understand why. It's a fun job. It beats working for a living.
That
Plus,
sounds
we can't
like
afford it. We'd never make enough money to retire on.
well, for sure, and that sounds like gangster code or mafia code. You're gonna be retired by corporate.
It kind of is, depending on who you work for.
It's not like if I'm watching The Last Dance, the documentary on the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I love it.
And Jordan talks about he always wanted to retire like 2 years before he actually had to.
Right.
So you retire at the top of your game, but that's in a situation where you have a physical component. Just like most people who go to their job, they put in a hard day's work. But for a comedian, it's not just a job, it's a way of life.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's everything you do is based around that job that you work for 1 hour a night.
And let me tell you, it takes a lot to get a comedian to retire.
Yeah, you never hear, because you hear it in sports. You brought up Michael Jordan. You hear it in music all the time. Oh, we're going to retire. This is my final season. This is our last tour. But it never sticks. But I don't remember a comedian saying they're going to retire and then came out of retirement and hits the road again.
Well, a lot of us do things along those lines. I always say that, whenever I retire, it's like the same way the Nature Boy Ric Flair retires. You're only doing it to make the comeback.
Right. You got to. Yeah.
It's
have
totally
that
about hype. Comedians are like sharks. They just, at the end of the day, you never stop moving, whether you're on the road, whether you're hitting stages all the time, whatever frequency that is, you're always on the hunt for new material, new jokes, new audiences. It's an addiction.
Right. I mean, you can't stop it. So, I mean, if you're coming out with new material and you're still able to physically tour and do shows, I mean, it makes sense to share that material because your fans, they love you, so they're going to love the material.
And for me, retirement just doesn't sound like it would provide that same level of excitement. Like, what am I going to be? Like the funniest guy on the beach telling jokes to seagulls?
Well, maybe when you're that Walmart greeter, when people are coming in, you can share some jokes.
Yeah, that you'll see me out on the golf course, cracking up the other retirees.
You'll be in the clubhouse sharing all your material.
I think another point that gets missed is just like Jordan, comedians are some of the most competitive people on the planet.
Really? I don't think I ever knew that.
They're always trying to outdo each other, to be the funniest, the wittiest, the most outrageous. They're always trying to one-up each other, to be the funniest guy in the room. It's like a never-ending game of who can make the most people laugh, and nobody wants to be the first one to bow out.
So you're staying all night, sharing jokes. When you're in a group with a group of comedians, is it just nonstop the whole time?
it's nonstop, but only in the sense of those who are already naturally having fun and are getting along. The worst thing is to hang out with the comedian that doesn't know how to turn it off. And we're like,
Oh,
yeah, dude, we've seen your act.
You don't
know-
have to do it in front of us. We're not your audience. We didn't pay.
Right. Like if I want to hang out with you and see your act, I would have been a magician. So I guess what I'm trying to say, Double T, is when you spend your entire life perfecting your craft, honing your skills, building your reputation, to suddenly stop is just like cutting off a limb.
And that still won't stop you. You'll keep going.
Totally. I mean, like, what else am I supposed to do? What else would a comedian do? Play golf, knit, spend all day watching TV?
Well, that retirement account probably doesn't have a lot of zeros in it either.
No, well, and let's face it, comedians love to thrive on the chaos, the unpredictability, and the rush of just being in front of a live audience. And so it kind of puts the pressure on. So unless death or disease comes knocking at the door, most comedians will never retire.
They're not gonna, you're not gonna, I'm not gonna. It's Bar Comedy USA News with comedian J-Dog. Anything people should know that you got coming up?
That's right. Well, if you want to head down to Princeton, Illinois, this Saturday, the 29th, one of my favorites on the Pub and Grub Comedy Tour is the Couch Commander, Mike Marvell. He's going to be playing at the Hog House Saloon, part of the Pub and Grub Comedy Tour. You can get tickets at barcomictix.com. Mike Marvell, another example, retirement is not in his DNA. It's going to be like asking Superman to stop saving the world. You know?
And I love the name of the place. It sounds like a lot of fun.
It'll be a blast. And barcomictix.com, and I'll be back next week with more conversations with my good buddy Double T.
Thanks, J-Dog. I appreciate it, buddy. It's Rockford's home for Classic Rock 96.7, The Eagle. Thanks, man.
Yeah, that seemed to work out. A minimum
Definitely.
of technical issues.